Brodes Media.
Hey everyone, before we get started, make sure you smash that subscribe button if you are new to the channel and hit that like button as well. It would mean the absolute world to me. Also, every Wednesday, we run a Hump Day Giveaway on my Twitter page, @Brodes81 and @Brodes Media. This week, we're giving away a Bryce Harper jersey. It's a no-brainer. Enter to win. And every Wednesday, there's another phenomenal giveaway available. Do not miss an opportunity to win such an outstanding, outstanding prize. Thank you all so much, and enjoy the show. What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. The regular season is finally over, and now we're inching our way closer. We still need to get through the play-in round, but we are inching our way closer. We had some fun entertainment, if you will, on Sunday night. And I'll acknowledge that entering the game, I didn't expect much, but Tyrese Maxey put on a show. Paul Reed put on a show. You had a couple bombs from Isaiah Joe that made me jump up. So, guess what? The Young Bucks, the back end of the bench, if you will, they started to give me a rise last night, and it was entertaining. And I guess saying back end of the bench is unfair because of the way Tyrese Maxey has been playing as of late. It gives you a dimension off the bench that you, quite frankly, do not have at all. And I do believe that Doc Rivers is going to try and throw him into the mix to get him some playoff experience. Here's the positive, though. You can do that when you play slop in the first round. So the Pacers, the Hornets, the Wizards, the Celtics, they suck. They're not good. They are brutal. You put yourself at an advantage, and you put yourself in a spot where you can get away with using a player like Tyrese Maxey in an early round and even a second round. Luck is big. There's not really a scenario where playing the New York Knicks, a team like the Knicks, was in my brain in the second round when the season started. We talk about the Miami Heat for a reason, and I'm not a big Miami Heat fan, but even I acknowledge that there's a difference in playing the Heat and playing the Knicks in the second round. I think they are better coached, and I respect what Tom Thibodeau did. I respect Julius Randle and Nerlens Noel and just the type of team that the Knicks have become this season. It's still different, though, when you talk about the postseason, and it's a grown man's game that the Miami Heat have a different edge to them compared to the New York Knicks. You're accustomed to seeing better talent in the second round than the New York Knicks. It's a cute story, okay? It's a fun little journey that the Knicks went on this season, but it's not something that I am truly afraid of. Sometimes luck bounces your way, and the way that I see this is the Sixers got a bit lucky with how it played out, but they put themselves in the position for luck to bounce their way, and that's if the Knicks even get through to the second round. I mean, I'm just saying, you never really know. It's not automatic. It's not 100% crystal clear that they do advance. So I'm just looking at it. At this time, the path is there. Okay? It would be criminal. It would be a colossal failure if the Sixers did not get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Step one was what? Win the number one overall seed. If you look at the checklist on the whiteboard in the locker room with the Sixers locker room, that's number one. In Camden, at the facility, wherever this whiteboard is, this hypothetical whiteboard, win the number one overall seed in the Eastern Conference was on it, and it got checked off. Now it's go win a championship, all right? Now it's let's go to the NBA Finals and complete the mission. So step one is in place. Now let's get through to step two. I'm excited. I really am. I can't wait to see this team play. I do have some question marks. And all weekend long, I was on The Fanatic, and I asked the question, should I feel guilty to look at this team with some negativity? Every team has flaws. Every team has some negative sides to them. So it's not only the Sixers. It's not. Every squad that is left, even the Utah Jazz, if we're looking on the Western Conference side, the Utah Jazz, the Phoenix Suns, the Denver Nuggets, every team has something that will knock them when you rate what their identity is. So, should I feel guilty, or should I just say They're the number 1 overall seed, so be damn excited. Be super stoked, and let's enjoy the ride. And I was listening on my ride in. Rob Motti was on before me, and he had a caller call into his show. And the way that he stated it, it was interesting. When the Eagles won the Super Bowl, did you nitpick their flaws, or did you just appreciate game after game? Whenever it clicked in your brain that the Eagles can actually win the Super Bowl, and for me it was that Carolina Panthers game, when you witnessed that, it was, whoa, is this team different? Does this squad have a different edge to them? And then from there, wow, they're banging up on teams and they're just crucifying squads left and right. There was no overthinking. There was no overanalyzing. There was no thinking about, well, their defense, or well, Jim Schwartz, or well, this and that. And even when Nick Foles went in, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. In the beginning, it was there's no way. But as you continue to win football games, it slowly transitioned to, well, maybe there is something in this magical touch that Nick Foles has when he puts on a Philadelphia Eagles jersey compared to any other jersey out there. I bring this up to you because why do we look at some of the negative spots here? Should we just be appreciating it for what it is? And I think yes, but no. At the same time, no. Because this team has been different than the Super Bowl winning team. No one had expectations entering that season. You were 7-9 with Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson the year before, and Doug Peterson almost got canned. With this Sixers team, you get to the second round, you're battling that jump. You need to take that leap as a franchise, and your stars have to show a significant jump in their maturity, in their growth, and they need to adapt to the league as players that are ready to take a franchise on their backs and pick up the Larry O'Brien trophy as we are in the spring mode. And now I guess everything's kind of pushed back here as we're transforming into summer mode when the playoffs and the NBA finals are in action. It's a different setup. You're watching young stars really take a stride, and they're putting themselves forward to go win a championship. The Eagles, it was not like that. It was, bang, a magical season that just popped out of nowhere in between a 7-9 and a 9-7 season. So that's how I make it different in my brain. That's how I analyze that it's two completely different things. And it would be ridiculous to act as if everything's perfect. Everything's not perfect. I have 3 concerns with this basketball team. Now, let's be clear. These 3 concerns, even with these 3 problems, I still put them at a high percentage to get the ultimate goal done, which tells you everything about where I see the other teams as well. It's wide open. It seriously is. There's no LeBron playing at the LeBron level that we are used to. Who knows what the Lakers are? And I wouldn't be shocked if LeBron stepped onto the court and took them on that crazy ride, because it's LeBron fucking James, and he does that shit all the time, and he's amazing, and he's my favorite athlete besides Serena Williams. It's a close one, too. It doesn't matter who's 1, doesn't matter who's 2. I love them both. It's probably LeBron 1, though. Who am I kidding? I wouldn't be shocked, but that's the outlier here, even though it's not the outlier because it's LeBron James. But let's put that aside. There's no one that has the Golden State Warriors power of their dynasty. There is no pure dynasty. The Milwaukee Bucks are a great team, but they're looking to take that jump just like the Sixers are. There's no established team that already does it year in and year out. Sure, Kevin Durant is that player, and he has a Finals MVP for a reason, except I don't know what the Brooklyn Nets are. There's a huge question mark surrounding that team. If they're all playing their best basketball they possibly can, yeah, guess what? They're going to be a powerhouse, and it's going to be scary. Are they going to be healthy? Are they going to be available? And Kyrie Irving's talking to the media saying the number one thing on his mind right now isn't basketball, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was along those lines, and I'm not acting as if what is on his mind is not important, because that's not what I'm saying. But there's something in my gut that tells me the Brooklyn Nets are not going to gel the way that maybe we all anticipate. I've seen so many teams, quote, built for the playoffs, specifically this same franchise that we watch every single night. And what happened when they got to the playoffs? Well, they got swept, but Ben Simmons wasn't there. The team wasn't right. The team's identity was garbage, and they were not going to make a serious run anyway. When you constantly say, well, just they're built for the playoffs, don't worry about what they look like in the regular season, there's truth to that at some point, and then there's a line, and the Nets did not get past that line. They just don't really have that flow. I'm not telling you they're going to stink. I'm not telling you they're going to do nothing. I don't think they're automatic, dynamic, unbeatable, and they can't lose. I don't think it's to that level. The Sixers in a 7-game series can go 7. It can go 7 and win it. They can go 6 and win it. And keep in mind, there's going to be thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of fans at the Wells Fargo Center, which is going to impact the level of play, and it's going to impact the rise that the Sixers are going to have when they're on their home floor. And normally, I don't care too much about the number 1 seed. And it depends on where you're at. There's a few teams that I don't think it would bother. The Brooklyn Nets, it's possible it doesn't bother Kevin Durant because he's a seasoned veteran, so it's possible. I don't feel as strongly about that, though, as I would a LeBron. And here's another name, the Clippers, with Kawhi Leonard on the team being the leader, Paul George maybe being an actual force this year in the postseason. We'll see. But if I'm looking at the West, and you won't have to worry about that to the NBA Finals anyway, if that even is the case, but I don't think that team needs home court advantage. LeBron doesn't need home court advantage. This team, where they are now, they're still so young. They're still so raw with the superstar talent that you're looking at to be the leader, specifically Joel Embiid. When that is the case, when you're not in a 32, 33-year-old season where you have more awareness under your belt, you're still so new to this lifestyle. You're still so new and raw to being an MVP caliber player. The impact of the home court does matter. So, I do need to acknowledge that that's big for what this team's end is going to be. I'm not afraid of the Knicks. I'm not afraid of what we're going to see in the second round. They're going to have to work for it. I'm not going to tell you the second round is going to be an automatic breeze, but they control their own destiny. That's the beauty of this thing. If you do what you're supposed to do, you are going to win the Eastern Conference, and you're getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. If you're focused, if you're determined, if you're properly prepared, and you execute, if you do what you're supposed to do, you are going to get to the Eastern Conference Finals and put yourself in a position to get to the NBA Finals. And that's all I can ask for right now. Once they get there, then yes, the conversation intensifies and the storylines and the drama will be added. But I'm talking about right now, as they look down at their opponent, as they should, because they're the number 1 seed for a reason. When they look down at that 8th seed, whoever wins this damn stupid little play-in thing, you're going to look yourself in the mirror and realize, if I do this, that, this, and that, everything I just laid out for you, you get to where you need to be to put yourself in such a great spot. All those fans the other night, oh, Miami, how are we going to get by Miami? Oh, Miami. Stop. I respect Miami. I don't think they're fools by any means. They're a sharp organization. They're ran very well. They know what they're doing. At the same time, look at what they're going to have to do. Now, I will admit, when I look at the first-round matchups, Miami versus Giannis and the Bucks is one of my favorite matchups. And normally it's 4 or 5 because of the competitive nature. It's the first round of the NBA. No one gives a damn about 1-8, 2-7. So sometimes 3-6 is solid. 4 or 5 is normally the 2 teams that are closest together. So you would naturally look at them as a great series in the first round. You're going to see that out west with the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets, although Denver has a serious injury to their roster that's going to hold them back from their ultimate goal, unfortunately for them. Some poor luck involved with the whole Jamal Murray situation that played out this season. I am definitely intrigued by Jimmy Butler, Bam, going up against Giannis and the Greek Freak and how it'll play out. I still think the Milwaukee Bucks are better teamed They have an all-around better squad, and I do believe that last year was a product of the world getting shut down, being so early involved when nobody knew what was going on. You heard how many players state that they were uncomfortable and they didn't feel like it was the right thing to do, and they didn't think that it was best for their family, but they went down there anyway, and like that impacts the way players play. That impacts the way teams go on a ride, and the Miami Heat took advantage of that. You do need to tip the cap, saying, hey, look, you did what you set out to do there. They didn't win it all, but they went on a nice ride in the bubble. I think more of last year was product, environment, no fans. More so than it was that Miami Heat team was just outstanding and amazing, and they were one of the best teams all season long. They went on a nice run. They went on that run because of everything that I just laid out, and we'll see how they compete against some of these top teams early in the playoffs. And think about the line of teams they'd have to get through to eventually see the 76ers. They're there for a reason. That's what it comes down to. In terms of who I want to see in the first round, I just don't care. I'm not afraid of Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook. I'm not afraid of the Pacers. I'm not afraid of the Boston Celtics. There's no reason to be afraid of the Celtics, by the way. They stink. They're a bad basketball team. Jaylen Brown, not available. Jason Tatum's a fun watch. We know that. They stink. They stink. They have zero opportunities to defend Joel Embiid. They have no big man even close to even doing anything. Nothing. And not many teams do, and squads are going to bring double teams and all, and I'll get into that more in just a second. But the Celtics are garbage. Let me repeat that for you. The Boston Celtics are garbage, and they are a horrendous basketball team that you should have zero worry about. Give me any of these four teams, and the 76ers will shit on their face, and it won't even be close, and I can't wait to watch it happen relatively quickly, may I add, as well. So I'm not fearful of anyone. I don't care who we see. I just want to see a damn team within the next... I wish I could say 24 hours, but unfortunately we need to wait a little bit longer than that until the ball is tipped up for the Sixers. All right, so I never truly got to my concerns. There's three of these concerns. One is Ben Simmons. And if you're not afraid of Ben Simmons in a half-court set, well, then you are just uneducated about the sport of basketball. This has been an issue. This has been something that we have stressed year in and year out, where you can look at what he does in a full court game and with an open court where you can just run up and down the floor at will, but that's not the case. It might be early. So let me preface this by saying what happens against the Hornets, what happens against these bad teams early on, to a degree that's irrelevant to Ben Simmons in the half court, because these teams don't have a time and day. Like, they don't have a chance in hell at stopping the 76ers. So when I talk about my three concerns, realistically, this is more focused towards an Eastern Conference Finals matchup. And maybe to a minor degree, something in the second round. But I still think that you can fly by with Ben Simmons' flaws in the second round with a pretty good breeze, too, to be honest. So, I'm prefacing this by saying, don't come back to me and say, see, Brodes, he did it against the Hornets. See, Brodes, you were wrong. He had 18 to 20 points against the shitty-ass Wizards. Good job, Ben. I'm talking more about when it matters most, when you're playing against a team that actually can bang with you and a team that can compete at the same level as you. What Ben Simmons is going to show up. How is that going to impact the way the team defends your team and Joel Embiid on the post? And Joel Embiid, not even with his back to the basket, but in the face-up game or even out by the perimeter. How is this all going to work out with Ben Simmons and his inability to do anything offensively in a half-court set? Once they wall him off, he doesn't even look. Not for 1 second will he look at that basket, and that needs to change. If it changes, well, then hopefully that is a positive sign. It will be a positive sign for the Sixers. I just don't know if it's going to change. And it might, but I'm allowed to be in doubt. To act as if me being in doubt is unfair. No. What's unfair is everything Ben Simmons has done to this point offensively in playoff mode. That's unfair. So I need to see it before I can believe it because it's been terrible to this point. It's not on me. It's not my fault that I feel this way. It's Ben's fault that I feel this way. So number one is just obvious. It's Ben Simmons. Number two is the team outside of Joel. And here's what I mean by that. Because I always talk about how you win a championship because of your superstar. And there's no doubt about that. Joel Embiid is that guy for you. Joel's going to get doubled. He's going to get tripled. And the other team is going to basically say, anyone but Joel Embiid. So with this mentality, is Danny Green, Seth Curry, Tobias, well, first it starts with Joel Embiid, right? Is he going to make the proper passes? And I think he has clearly adapted his brain to passing out of the double team, and you're going to see him get stronger in that area. He's going to make some great passes. There might be some bad ones. Once in a blue moon, there might be a turnover. There might be 2 or 3 turnovers in a game in the second half where it's frustrating, but there's also going to be maybe 4 or 5 outstanding passes that lead to 3. So he's not going to be perfect. He's not going to bat 1,000. There's going to be some ugly passes that result in fast break points. How many can you limit, though? And let's not make it too much of an issue where it's like, yo, Joel, we're at 4 or 5 now. Let's clean things up. So it starts with Joel. From there, though, is Seth Curry going to be the 5 of 6 Seth Curry, or is he going to be the 0 for 5 or the 1 for 5 Seth Curry? Is Danny Green going to give you the 18 points and splash from every corner 3 that he takes, or is he going to be the more of the 1 for 7 type of Danny Green? So it comes down to that. Everyone surrounding Joel, because the Joel factor, if it's anyone but, well, then, and it's going to be. I mean, quite frankly, it's going to be. That's the only smart way to approach things. Or, here's something that came to mind. The 2 for 3 game. So, could a team possibly go with this mentality? We'll allow Joe to score. If Joel's going to give you 40 and they're all going to be 2s, let's trade 2 for 3s, my man. Let's go 2 for 3s all day. It's 2021 basketball. You want 2s? I'll give you 2s. Joel, you want to take mid-range jumpers? Take mid-range jumpers all you want. Because we're going to be shooting 3s on the other end, and we're going to be making those shots. Once again, not about the Hornets, not about the Washington Wizards. I'm talking about real teams here, as things matter more. The Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie. All right, Joel, that's cute. That's cute. You scored 40 in all 2-pointers. Maybe you hit 1 3 in there. While we're splashing 42 points when KD's giving you 42 and he's cruising 3s. And so is James Harden. The 2 for 3 mentality. Is there something to that? I would imagine, though, they're going to put stress on the big man. Instead of letting him get comfortable, it's like, let's charge him, let's blitz him, let's double team him, let's send pressure in different areas of the court to confuse him so he can't settle in. The quicker you double, the less time he has to process where his teammates are and where these guys are on the floor, whether it's in the corner, whether it's on the other side of the court, whether it's Ben Simmons in the dunker spot because someone disrespected him, as they probably should, and, and the list goes on and on. So, I'm just fascinated to see. I'm sure these less talented teams, though, are probably just going to think, all right, let's get the ball out of his hands and work from there. If Tobias beats us, then Tobias beats us. But we're not allowing the MVP of the league, or who should be the MVP in the league, the chance to wax us. All right. We're going to get to the Anytime Hotline. I do need to tell you about DeSimone Jewelers. They are my jewelers. I go to them for literally everything. I went to them for my fiance's engagement ring, which it's our anniversary tomorrow. I can't believe it. It's been since sophomore year of high school. It's been an incredible journey. But yeah, I surprised her with an outstanding ring thanks to DeSimone Jewelers. They made it and they manufactured it right there on location. And because of that, they beat all of the competitors' prices out there. They're a family-owned business with over 40-plus years of experience. They were in Jewelers Row. Now they're located in Haddonfield, New Jersey. They're the best in the business. You walk in, it's a family-like atmosphere. Yo, Brodes, what's going on, man? And you just kind of, you hang out, you shoot the shit, you relax. It's great. And they educate you. It's none of that nonsense of sales tactics. No. They educate you about what's going on, what they want to do, what they think is best for your situation, and bang, before you know it, the price is right in front of you. You're stunned because it's so low, but also the product you're getting is so high. It's so A+. It's so best in class. So go to DeSimone Jewelers. You are a fool if you don't. All their information is down below, their phone number and their website. If you're looking to get your loved one, your family member, a nice piece of jewelry, DeSimone Jewelers in Haddonfield, New Jersey, and you tell them that Brodes sent you. All right, so we're going to go to the Anytime Hotline. We're going to do some text messages and some comments as well. There were some comments left on the YouTube community page when we're talking about the Sixers. So a little combination of both. And this is brought to you by Orbit Energy and Power. If you're looking to get solar for your home, go to orbitenergy.us or call their phone number. That's also in the description. Solar energy, water purification, battery storage, backup energy services, tree removals, electrical upgrade. They do it all. Orbit Energy and Power, located in Mantua, New Jersey. Information in the description. All right, let's kick it off. The font is a little small. I'm going to have to blow this up. I feel like, like those old people that look at their iPhone and they can't really see. Maybe they're wearing glasses, so they go for the over the glasses look to try and actually see. Oh my, now it's way too big, and that's way too small. Okay, that's a good size. All right, let's kick things off with Thomas in Philly. Everything that just happened is now over and done with. Real basketball begins. Will Ben Simmons be a problem? In all caps, I think so, with 3 exclamation points. You might be right, and it's hard for me to really argue anything right now. I'm in wait-and-see mode. My frustration with him has clearly boiled over this season, and if you see his numbers heading into the All-Star game, and then you see his numbers elsewhere throughout the entire season, it's a laughing joke that every year that's all he cares about, and it's something that drives him. Why does it take something like that to drive him? There's always something. The noise gets loud. There's a lot of pressure. It's 5, 6, 7 games of just getting on Ben. Then he explodes and he bursts out to prove everybody wrong. Why does it take something like that to motivate? You got to be self-motivated. This is professional sports. You think Joel Embiid is motivated by like a fan that's screaming at him to do things? No, he's motivated because of himself. Does he get some extra juice from the crowd after a big shot? Absolutely. But the drive is inside Joel Embiid. Ben Simmons, other people have to piss him off until he explodes. The problem I have is, because I'm sure some are thinking, that means he just doesn't have it. No, because my problem is when he does explode, it's elite. When he does explode, it's unreal. It's top of the league level dominance. So the fact that it's in there, it's rare for anyone to have that. You don't just have that skill. It's rare to have it. So how do I get it out of him on a more consistent basis is the question I ask. Not so much, well, he doesn't have it, so I'm giving up on him as a whole. He doesn't have that self-motivation. No, because that skill that he has is too damn rare to pretend that it's just not a thing. It's a thing, damn it, and I need to get it more out of him. I had a caller on The Fanatic this weekend, and it was, what makes you feel there's more in Ben Simmons? What makes you think he's going to change? And my answer is, whether I'm being naive or not, is this is professional sports. I watched Joel adapt and grow. I watched Devin Booker grow. I watched Julius Randle grow. I watched Ja Morant grow. I watched Zion Williamson grow. I watch all these guys grow throughout a season. I watch Tyrese Maxey has grown tremendously from the start of this year to where he is now. Why do I feel that way? Because it's their job to work on their craft and become a better version of themselves every single offseason and throughout a regular season. That's what sports is all about. Sports players and athletes, sports players, what the hell is that? Athletes, they adapt. They develop. So that is what I'm putting that on. The fact that that's what professional athletes do. They advance in their skill set. This is the first year we've been talking about it with Julius Randle. Let's not act like Julius Randle has been this for every single year. It just popped for him. Joel Embiid this year, it just fucking popped for him this year. So is the pop going to happen with Ben? I don't know. I'm willing to find out, though, because of how special his talent is. Jordan in Virginia. First time, long time, Brodes. I love that. Congrats on Brodes Media. Thank you so much, Jordan. I believe it comes down to Danny and Seth hitting shots from deep land. Deep land. I like that. After Embiid passes out of the pressure that's sent from the opposing defense. Absolutely, and I actually brought that up earlier. It's going to come down to the shooters at times. Not every time. They might just have an average game, and Tobias is the leader. Super efficient. 30 points, 28 points, maybe 10 rebounds, 6 assists. You might get a night out of Tobias, where he's the guy that Joel constantly passes to, that Ben constantly passes to, and the shooters just have an average game. But there's also going to be games where Danny and Seth are on fire, and Tobias just has a 15-point kind of night and just as simple. And Tobias is good, and he's a leader on defense as well. What might concern me, though, is the Seth Curry defensively. What are you going to get in a half-court set out of him? Is he going to get exposed? And if it's a quieter night for Seth Curry, well, that could definitely do some damage, and it could be scary for sure. And it could be the difference in the outcome and how the other team is getting points. So that's big. Seth Curry defensively. Danny, he can hang. He does have his senior citizen moments, though. There are certain games where he's just not smooth, and his legs look tired, his legs look lost, and he looks lost. It doesn't happen very often, and there's a difference between regular season and postseason, so maybe just the heat of the moment, knowing that it's the playoffs. That won't happen to him because it's just, hey, all out, and he's a winner for a reason. So maybe, or it goes the other way around. Because it's the playoffs and he's so much older and because it matters more that there's so much fatigue involved for him that he gets worn out, I guess that could also be in play. But I don't anticipate that seeing happen. Jordan, that's a good point, man. The shooters are going to be such a big part of the spacing. And if it's a game where some of these guys get real hot, do you have to stop the double? Or do you have to switch the way that you double? Or I don't know. I mean, let's be realistic. If Danny Green opens the first quarter with 12 points because he bangs a handful of threes within 4 minutes, are you just going to be able to do the same thing and just say, hey, Danny, we're just going to let you do that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again because we don't want Joel Embiid to be the guy? At some point, you got to pull the trigger and do something different. So, the impact of the shooters could be monstrous to the defensive game plan of the other team, and they might have to go to plan B. And if you're changing what the other team is doing, going from plan A, shifting to plan B, you're doing a hell of a job at your game plan. Charles in Marlton, I am scared. Yes, a fear of commitment. I don't want my heart broken, and I am hoping for the best. Love the show, Brodes. Yeah, there's a lot of fans afraid to commit because if they don't win the Larry O'Brien trophy, you're going to be damaged and you're going to be upset. But to a degree, you have to commit to some level. This team is good. You can't pretend like this team is not good. This team does have a serious chance to do it. They have a serious chance statistically. You get that number 1 seed, you have the advantage. You're in the driver's seat. You have a great analytical chance. The data tells you you can win the title. So, yeah, there's a reason that you should feel this team has the ability to win the NBA title, to go to the NBA Finals. Also, though, it's not automatic. So there's a way to properly buy in. You can buy in with the realization of you got to play either the Brooklyn Nets or the Milwaukee Bucks. Getting there is not going to be the easiest thing in the world. Statistically, though, don't fight the numbers. The numbers tell you the Sixers are a fantastic team. They're there for a reason. They have the edge. They have the attitude. Hell, Joel Embiid's rocking a chain, hanging out on the bench. Like, he's got it, man. He's got the swagger. The team has the swagger. It doesn't mean they're absolutely going to do it, but you got to find that good mixture of, I think the Sixers can really make a solid run that brings this city on a nice stretch. At the same time, realizing it's not automatic. Like, don't just say I'm scared of commitment. That's going to ruin it. You can't just not have that fun. You need that fun. Now, it's at that point, I would be disappointed if someone just didn't really enjoy this at all because they were afraid to say, I think the team can do it, just because they might not. It's hard to win a title. It's really difficult. Going into a season, you have a better chance of not doing it than you have doing it. But that doesn't mean that you just all of a sudden can't buy in. It's a hard task. And with how hard it is, the Sixers are still at the top for a reason. That would be a shame if you just let this slip like that. Yax says, feels like we have to get farther in the playoffs than years before or Simmons is gone. I've heard this a lot. If the Sixers lose, is Ben Simmons gone? That's too simple of a statement. This is a multi-layered question and a multi-layered answer, I guess I should say. How does it happen? Is it fully Ben Simmons' fault? There's a way where you actually compete very well and could have won the series. And both teams play phenomenal basketball, and one team has to win and one team has to lose. If you fall in the Eastern Conference Finals in 6 or 7 games, and it's just outstanding ball, high quality, just great, amazing, great play, sometimes it's just like, hey, we lost. The team has to lose, but it's not because of anything we did wrong. It's just high-quality basketball. The NBA playoffs got to us. You went up against a team that can counter you, and you guys are at the same level, and one team wins. Like, that's possible. That doesn't mean Ben Simmons is gone, but he says it feels like we have to get farther. So I guess in this opinion, or in this statement by Yax, it's more about the time of, or more about the time. Let me rephrase this here. I'm trying to gather my thoughts. What he's basically saying is if they don't get to the Eastern Conference Finals, so this is losing in the second round, that would be a colossal failure. That would be a Doc Rivers problem, a Joel Embiid problem, a Tobias Harris problem. I would have to see how it plays out, but losing in the second round is probably going to be more than just on one person. And as much as I'm going to heavily focus on the Ben Simmons drama this playoff run, I'm aware that losing in that way and losing in that nature, it goes on more than one person. It's a team sport for a reason. I don't know what Daryl Morey is going to do. Imagine the hype around this team, right? Heading into the playoffs, which we're experiencing right now. We know how good we are. The whole league knows how good the Sixers are. What type of statement is it to the league if you're now telling everybody, hey, Ben Simmons is available? So wait, you're telling me a squad that was the number 1 overall seed and underachieved is now moving on from Ben Simmons? Why? Well, because he's a problem. Well, what type of compensation are you getting back? You're not just going to move Ben. As much as he's annoying, you're not moving Ben for a piece of garbage. You're going to get high quality back in return. Do you lose compensation if it plays out where he's an eyesore and there is something to be said about his inability again? At the same time, though, every team thinks they can change everyone. Doc Rivers thought he could change Ben Simmons. He can't. Brett Brown thought he could. He can't. So every team thinks that they can. That's just a part of being a coach. Oh, I could change him. You can't. You can't. Daniel Hancock says, I don't see a reasonable way we lose before the conference finals. I'm not disagreeing with you, Daniel. And Kyle Scott, if the Sixers play their best basketball, we have a great shot of going to the finals this year. They need everyone to play their part. Hard defense and playing inside out is their game. And that goes right to what I was saying before. They're in control. They control their own destiny. If they complete the way they need to, if they complete the checklist, be prepared, be determined, work harder than the other team, execute. If they just do what they need to do, they're going to win. The ball is in their court, and I truly do mean that. Before we head out of here, big names are... Nope, that was last week's. Hold on a second. It's playoff time. Big stakes, bigger promotions. It's time to hammer the over and score some cash. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving you a chance to lower the over-under on a featured playoff game. All players who place a bet on the featured basketball game will have a hand in lowering the over-under on the game. That's right. For every 1,500 players who bet the over on the select game, the over-under will drop by 1 point. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Brodes when you sign up to hammer the over. For every 1,500 people that bet on the over in the featured game, the line will decrease by 1 point. Yes, this is your chance to improve the odds of the over hitting. So tell your friends and family, this is the team effort. Hammer the over, improve your odds of doubling your money. That's promo code Brodes for a limited time, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Pennsylvania only. Restrictions apply. Max $25 wager. One per customer. Offer ends May 23rd in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? call 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you all so much. I can't wait to continue to talk this Sixers team as we are moving forward into real playoff basketball. Thank you all so much, and I will see you next time.